I am Sam Scaller. I am the founder and CEO of Shine a Light Childhood Cancer Charity. I was the second child to be diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia at Birmingham Children's Hospital, and the first that was successfully treated and came to the end of treatment. The GP knocked on the front door. He came in, smiled at me and said, "I'm just going to have a little word with your mum." Took her through to our back room. And told that there was a possibility I'd got either glandular fever or something else wrong with my blood. They were going to take me into hospital the next morning and do some tests to see. So the next morning I was admitted to St Cross Hospital. I'd never been poorly before, so I'd never been in a hospital environment. I was really quite frightened. My first memories of going onto the ward were surreal. I was wheeled down the corridor on a trolley, and in the other direction there was this little boy come zooming along the corridor using his medicine stand as a skateboard, so fully wide up with a nose feed in his mouth, no hair, zooming past me, and I just remember thinking, what on earth is going on? My mum was obviously staring around in despair, and a gentleman walked over to her and put his arm on her arm and just said, "Don't worry, love, I know that this is really scary, but we're all a big family here." As he walked away, I remember my mum muttering under her breath, "I don't want to be part of this family." And that memory has stayed with me for as long as I've kind of remembered, because of the fact that within a few days we really started to understand what that meant. That community on the ward, those are the parents, those are the children, were really the people that understood what we were going through. Although we had sort of friends and family that came in and visited, they were the people that really understood, that advised, that supported, that told us what the next steps of that journey would look like, and made it a little bit less scary. In terms of support, the only support on the ward was that offered by other families that were going through that journey. There was one charity that ran from the hospital which offered support for families, but it was all Birmingham based, and it was very sporadic, so it would be a Christmas party, a summer trip to Drayton Manor, those kind of things, but there was no regular support service that was accessible on a regular basis for families at that time. It was a 2.5-year journey from diagnosis to the day that I finished treatment, but the journey with cancer has carried on all the way through my life. I've had other effects and other things that have happened to me through my life that have been impacted by the treatment that I had. So for me, it was the start of a lifelong journey, really, that's led me to where I am now. So when I reached the age of 16, I was really passionate about being able to give something back and support other families and other children, particularly that have been through a journey like mine. So I naturally went to where I'd received support. So I started volunteering with Camp Quality. I became one of their trustee boards at the age of 16, and started working with them to try and help other children. Started volunteering on the holidays, and very quickly worked up to becoming a holiday director and helping to actually organise and run the holidays. And I found the more I shared my story, the more hope and positivity it gave the whole family unit. So I found that I was not only engaging with children themselves, but with their parents, and able to kind of really help, especially when they were at the beginning of their journey, for them to have some hope of what the future held for them. I had a meeting at a pub table with 6 people who I'd persuaded to become trustees of a new charity. By October 2016, we'd chosen the name Shine a Light, looked at what we needed to do to become a registered charity. We spent a few months furiously working in the background to write a constitution and to develop all of the things we needed to become a charity. And by January 2017, we became Shine a Light Support Service, registered charity with a charity commission. What we were able to do was focus solely on support services for families, so we looked very closely at what that might involve. I was very passionate about setting up a counselling and play therapy service for families so that they had a way of accessing quickly the support that they needed emotionally. It wasn't just a 6-session and you're done service. We very much wanted to ensure that families received the right level of service for as long as they needed it. In a nutshell, Shine a Light Childhood Cancer Support helps families that are affected by childhood cancer, which is anyone aged from 0 to 24 years old who's diagnosed with a childhood form of cancer, across Coventry and Warwickshire through a provision of a range of services. The range of services includes counselling and play therapy, lots of activity and play dates and drop-in sessions, and all of those are ran with the intention of bringing families together to offer peer-to-peer support for one another.